Coming up next, I'm going to give you 3 of my favorite oud fragrances for fall. We're right around the corner from chillier weather, especially for most of you who are not in South Florida where it's always warm. But these are 3 great fragrances that I like to wear this time of year. Oud is a great fall note, I think, in my personal opinion. So I want to give you my recommendation. Find out what they are coming up next. Welcome back, everybody, to Joel the Nose. Thank you, as always, for watching. Thank you guys for all the support, by the way, let me just get this over here, with your support of course, Deco Noir, my latest fragrance that I have created, my second fragrance after Super Suave. You know, the support has been amazing, and people are getting their bottles and really seem to be loving them. So thank you, guys. All right, today's video is about oud fragrances for fall. So these are 3 in particular that I always, around this time of year, as we're going into kind of that September, October time period, that I just pick up and seem to wear a lot. And they've been in my collection for a while, so these are fragrances that are time tested for me and things that I can securely and confidently recommend to you. So let's get in this, and this is in no particular order. It's not, you know, ranked, as you would say, but let's just dive right into it. And I'll say, coming in here is the first fragrance you can see is from Dolce & Gabbana. This is from their private collection. It's not the designer collection. And this is, and I always get the name wrong, Velvet Desert Oud. Sometimes I say Desert Velvet Oud. It's Velvet Desert Oud. This actually fragrance was a gift about, I don't know, maybe, I think it was 3 Christmases ago, maybe even 4 Christmases ago. You can see, person who gave it to me drew a heart on it. This is a very kind of sentimental bottle, but this fragrance is just, it's such a wonderful, I would say, smooth oud fragrance. This is, again, for people who maybe are a little bit wary or a little bit cautious or a little bit nervous about oud. You've heard a lot about it. Maybe you've smelled it before. And especially to those of us here in the West who don't have a long history of oud fragrances, it can be overwhelming, right? Oud to me was not love at first sight. Now, I smelled ouds right off the bat that were more intense, not your more kind of subtle fragrances with oud. Oud can be used obviously in all different types of doses, from being just a small addition to a fragrance. Like, for example, in Deco Noir, my fragrance, I have oud in there, but it's just a little bit in there to help give it the other notes nuances and some richness. This is a fragrance, again, it's very arid, it's very dry, thus, I think it's a perfect name with desert in here. You feel like you're almost in the desert. I feel like this is, again, the time of the year where the humidity drops here in Florida. For once, it's not 100% humidity. The air gets a little bit drier, a little bit fresher, and this is one of those fragrances that makes me feel like that. And part of what I'm trying to talk about here is how fragrances make you feel, not just necessarily the notes that are all in there, because, notes are notes. Hey, my dog is unfortunately down here licking away and bothering me, or distracting me. So this is one of those fragrances, again, Velvet Desert Oud, that makes me feel this dry, kind of just wonderful, fresh time of year as the fall comes. All right, next, and this is a fragrance that kind of also gives me that similar feeling. And this is from, of course, the local Miami-based French-born perfumer. You guys all know her if you watch my channel, Irene from Therapy by Aroma. And this is Oud Fumé. Oud Fumé. Now, this is a fragrance, again, it's been in my collection for a while. This is really unique. And what I love about this one is, if I smelled it without knowing the name, I wouldn't necessarily know there was oud in there. This is a very kind of like smoky, fiery type fragrance thus the name fumé, which I believe is smoke or fire, something like that in French. It smells like a fresh lit fire. When I wear this fragrance, now we don't have many fireplaces down here in South Florida. Some homes do. I've actually lived in a home where I had a fireplace. It's rare. My house that I have now, I do not have a fireplace. But it reminds me of sitting on a cool, crisp fall night and just kind of soaking in the crackling of the fire, the dancing of the flames dancing around in a rhythmic nature with that crackling and that smell of the firewood. That's what this reminds me of. Without being too smoky. Some fragrances I've smelled, they have that camphor note that can be a little bit, to me, a little bit too smoky. It literally smells like you've been sitting next to a campfire outside, and you come away and your skin smells like fire. That's not this. This is just, it's a little bit sweet. It's a little bit sexy. And again, to go back to my point today, how does it make me feel? This fragrance makes me feel like I'm just sitting with maybe a nice little sweater on, windows open, cooling down the weather, and you got that nice crackling fireplace. So Oud Fumé, of course, one of the best things about this is the price. This is a 30 ml bottle. I believe it's $15 or $20. I'll put the link to her website below so you can go and order that if you want at Therapia by Aroma. And last, I'm saving, the last fragrance is the strongest oud fragrance, one of the strongest. It's the strongest in my personal collection, and I think one of the strongest oud fragrances out there. And this is from Ramon Manigal, Soul of Oud. You can see it there. How does this make me feel? First of all, let me spray it. That's the best way to... Wow, this is intense. This is not for your casual beginner fragrance lover, collector who's just smelling oud for the first time. This is like, I don't know. How would I describe this? It's like if you are just learning to swim, and rather than going in the shallow end of the pool, you go out into the rough ocean after like a hurricane has gone by and it's like huge waves and undertow and rough. That's what this is. This is a raging sea of oud that is going to envelop you and swallow you and turn you around. It's like if you're in the waves and you get caught. For those of us who surf, or even if you've body surfed in the ocean, the waves before, or even a boogie board, a lot of people have done that, right? You've ever done this where you're going down the wave and it's too big and you lose control and you start what's called going to the washing machine, and you're just basically tumbling around like you're a clothes in a washer and you're spinning. It's like the spin cycle and you're like, boom, boom. That's what this is. Again, to go back to my analogies of how does a fragrance make me feel. And I say that in the best way because as again, someone who grew up surfing here, that is both, when that happens to you, when you wipe out, it's exhilarating, it's invigorating, it's scary, it's intense, but it is energizing. It makes you feel alive. When you pop back up after you've been through the cycle and your head pops up out of the water and you look around and you realize, okay, everything's cool, I'm fine. It is like you feel alive, you feel one, you feel conscious, you feel awake, you feel aware. That's what this fragrance does. This fragrance is going to awake you. It's going to make you aware. It's going to make you aware of your surroundings because you are going to smell it constantly. You're going to smell it. I can smell it right now. It's just lingering in here and it is intense, but it is beautiful. It's well crafted. It's well composed. It's excellent. They use excellent ingredients as always at Ramon Manigal. So this is my third choice for my favorite fall oud fragrances. And again, try all three of them. They're just wonderful. They're wonderful. If you are an oud fan, you got to check them out. All right, I'll be back soon with another video. Thank you as always for watching, guys. And thank you again for your support with everything that I'm doing here on my channel and my fragrances, Deco Noir. Appreciate it again. I'll be back soon with another video. Peace, love, and perfume.